In this video, I'll be sharing with you a requested tutorial on how to cut this stylish Milkmaid Corset Queen Anne neckline flay dress. So if this is something you like, kindly hit on the subscribe button. And this dress is from Classic Chic Looks on Instagram. If you haven't yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, kindly hit on the subscribe button. To draft this pattern, I will be starting for the back pattern of this dress. And here is my zipper allowance. For your zipper allowance, use about 1.5 to 2 inches. Here's my shoulder to bust, under bust, and waistline, right? Now, the next step I'm going to take is to mark my shoulder divided by 2, and I'll add half inch because this dress has a sleeve. That half inch will serve as a joining allowance, and I'll come down by 1 inch. From here, I'll mark my neckline. So I'll be using a basic neckline of 3 inches and I'll connect it to this point. The next step is to find your chest line, which is your bust circumference divided by 6 plus 1.5 inches. I'll make a mark and go ahead to place my ruler and draw a straight line at this point. After I'm done marking this, I'll go ahead to mark my shoulder divided by 2 and I'll add half just like we did for the upper part. I'll go ahead to place my ruler and I'm going to connect. After I'm done connecting, I'm going to place my ruler. I'll divide what I have here into 2 and come in by half inch. I'll place my tape and I'm going to mark my bust circumference divided by 4 on my chest line. Now I'll place my ruler, connect all the way up, and from the midpoint I'll connect to my bust circumference divided by 4. The next step is to go ahead to mark my neckline. I'll mark 3 by 1 inch for the back neckline of this dress, and I'll go ahead to connect. Now after I'm done connecting, the next step is to mark my dart. I'll mark my nipple to nipple divided by 2. My nipple to nipple is 7 inches divided by 2, which will give me 3.5. I'll place my ruler and draw a straight line. After marking that, I'll extend it and come down by 1 inch from the bust. I'll mark half inch on both sides of my waist and then connect this pattern, that is the dart, from the lower part to that 1 inch I came down from the bust. The next step is to insert my body measurement. At the bust, my bust is 33 inches divided by 4. It's going to give me 8.3, and I'll mark and add half inch for my sewing allowance. Mark my under bust circumference divided by 4, pick the dart, replace and add my sewing allowance. Here, I'll go ahead to mark my waist circumference divided by 4, measure the dart intake, replace and add my sewing allowance. Remember, all your measurement is starting after the zipper line. So for a back pattern, you can go ahead to leave the under bust area, but I'm going to be using this back pattern to draft that of the front. So that is why I'm imputing my under bust. So at the zipper, I came in by half inch and I will be extending this up. This is to get rid of the bulginess at the back of the dress. The next step I'm going to take is to go ahead to cut out my pattern, and after cutting the zipper, you can blend it out or decide to sew it. Either ways is still okay. Now to use this for the front pattern, after cutting out your back pattern, take out the zipper allowance. Now let's go ahead to alter this to that of a front pattern. For this dress, at this point, I'll come down a bit from my bust, then go in by half inch. Right, I'll place my curved drew and connect to the under bust to give it that corset effect at this point. Now after connecting, you want to decide where you want the upper part of your cup to start, and I'm using about 1.5 inches. This is not a standard, use what is okay. I also went in by 2 inches, which is not a standard. It totally depends on how open you want that side to be, and I connected. Now after connecting, the next step I'll take is to mark my nipple to nipple divided by 2 plus half inch. I'll place my curved drew and connect. This is to form my cup at this other side. So for this part also, I'm going to go ahead to slash it. Now let's go ahead to work on the sleeve of this dress. From this side, you can come in by 1.5 to 2 inches at this point, right? Now I'll go ahead to place my ruler and I'm going to connect all the way down. So this is the Queen Anne neckline, and I'll tighten it by coming up by 0.5 or 0.3 inches, and I'll connect it to the initial line. So this is what I have. Now at this cup area, I'll go ahead to slash it open I'll slash it and I'll spread to give you that little gathered effect that you usually have for a milkmaid dress. So at this point, if you haven't yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, please kindly hit on the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and if you have any question, go ahead to leave it at the comment section. So I'll blend this off and go ahead to slash this. So next, I brought another pattern paper and we're going to place this on it. Now, it totally depends on the fullness you want on the cup. So for this tutorial, I'll just use 1 inch. So this 1 inch is not a standard. You can use 2 inches. Just like I said, it totally depends on the fullness you want on the cup area of your pattern. So after measuring that 1 inch I'm using here, I'll place the second pattern. So I will do this till I get to the last pattern that we slashed from the cup area of this pattern. After doing that, I'll also bring the third pattern, repeat it for the fourth pattern. Like I said, 1 inch is not a standard. This totally depends on what you want. If you're on the busty side, you can even consider to use more spacing on your pattern to give you that fullness. And I'll just go ahead to trace what I have round and I will cut it out. So after cutting it out, you now go ahead to replace it or add it back to your pattern. Now let's work on the lower part of this dress, which is a flare. So you want to go ahead to measure the waistline of your pattern and add your zipper allowance. My waist is 28 plus my zipper allowance. Let's say I'm using 1 inch for the zipper allowance on both sides. It will give me roughly 30 inches. Let's say here's my fabric and I want to fold this in a 360-degree flare. So what you do now is to fold this into 2 and then fold it again, which will give you 4. So for this particular pattern, I can't actually cut out my full waistline on this pattern because it will be much. So I'll be using a smaller waistline. So let's say the waistline plus the zipper allowance we are working on is 16 inches. Now that 16 inches, what we are going to do is to divide it by 4 because we folded our pattern by 4. This is like the easiest way to cut out your 360-degree. If you divide 16 by 4, what you still have is 4 inches. That is 16 divided by 4 will give you 4. Now I'll place my tape and make a semicircle about 4 inches round, right? So after marking this is what I have. Place your tape from the tip to where you have the circle where it stopped. So what I have is 2.6. So that 2.6, I'm going to go ahead to take it all the way around. This will like give you a better circle or a perfect circle. Then this is what you'll be using to cut out your pattern, right? This is the waist of your pattern. Now what I will now do is from the waist to the lower part of this dress, what is the length? So now let's say from the waist to the full length of this dress is about 6 inches. You're going to add extra 1 inch for folding or turn up, then add ½ inch for joining for the upper part to avoid your dress being shorter. Then go ahead to connect this all the way around. So after you're done connecting, I will now go ahead to cut out. If you don't want to cut out your lower part as one piece, you can just cut out, divide your waist into 2. Since my waist is 28, I'll divide it into 2, giving me 14. I'll cut out for the front, then cut out for the back if you don't want to cut out just one piece for the lower part of your dress.